Hello, I'm Graham Jones and welcome once more to channel KT4 broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join in by sending in questions during the show. Just press the comments button on the screen. Don't forget to click the like or share buttons. If you're watching on YouTube, please click to subscribe to channel KT4. I'm so pleased to welcome to my virtual studio Judy Sarssam, the president of Conquest Art. Hello, Judy, and thank you for joining me today here on Channel KT4. It only seems like yesterday that you were on the show with Epsom and Ewell talking newspapers. And that was in November, I believe. That's absolutely amazing. So, Judy, a big warm welcome back. And I'm really looking forward to learning all about Conquest Art.
Thank you very much. Great pleasure to be here.
Judy, as always, it's my pleasure to have you onto the show. But before you tell my viewers a little bit about all the wonderful work that Conquest Art is doing, I've managed to find a nice little video which I'm going to show my viewers now, and then if afterwards you could tell us just a little bit about the charity and how it came about and all those bits. Here it comes now.
Conquest Art is a charity started in 1978 by Ursula Hume, MBE. She was an artist who recognised the value of creative art to people with disabilities. Over the years, our number of groups has increased, which means that we're now able to offer more and more people the pleasure and benefit that comes from attending one of our classes. Our members have a wide range of disabilities, which include multiple sclerosis, stroke, arthritis, visual impairment, and many other long-term health issues. Our members are encouraged to create their artwork from their own imagination, to develop their own style, and to work at their own pace. People who initially doubt their ability to draw or paint are often surprised and delighted at the result of their effort. We also offer the opportunity to socialise and make new friends, which is important as many people with disabilities feel isolated.
It's a lovely group, and what they do is such an advantage to them. They learn confidence and they have companionship. Each member pays £5 to join, just so they got a feeling of being a member, and they have a magazine 3 times a year for that.
What's the inside going to look like? Wow. I was thinking of a contrast. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Well, it does look good. I know that's something that...
Previously, I just couldn't be bothered about art at all. That's all right. But now, I really, other way of the time can be. Good company, nice biscuits. I really enjoy the company of each week, and that's great fun.
Yes, I do. We're slowly working my way. I've got too many photos like that, yeah. I was printing off the way.
Our groups are all run by volunteers who offer their time and enthusiasm, and with support are rewarded by the sense of fulfilment that comes with being involved in such a worthwhile cause.
I actually think that's quite an amazing little bit of a film there, and it's and you can see the detail. Judy, come on, just tell us all about the charity and what it's doing, or not what it's doing at the moment, but tell me all about it.
Well, Ursula began 1978, and she was a pioneer, really, because she was a trained fabric designer. And she had a breakdown after the war and ended up in hospital, during which time she started to do her own artwork and other patients there wanted to join in. And she realized how hugely beneficial creativity is to people and returning well-being and all the wonders that go with using your imagination through artwork. So Ursula really was a great pioneer, and she set up a group at St. Paul's Church with local people attending who had in those days physical disabilities. And the local vicar, the Reverend Spurin, and his wife encouraged Ursula to begin a formal charity. And that is how Conquest Art was born at the beginning.
Wow, that's truly truly amazing, and it has grown. But and that, I believe, Judy, was 40 years ago. Am I right in that?
Yes, in fact, 43 years ago now.
Okay, but when you had your 40 years, you had a party, and you made cakes and all sort of thing. I've got a wonderful picture of one of your cakes, which I'm just going to put on the screen now. It's making me feel really hungry, and it's got all the, you can see all the icing on it, and it's got 40, 40, 40, and it says Conquest Art 40 years. I bet that was a really great occasion.
It was, but bearing in mind that all our members have disabilities and difficulties, we decided that it was going to be too much to have everyone come together. So we promoted to each of the groups that each one would have their own celebration, funded, of course, by the central establishment. And some of the groups went out, some of them had parties in their own venues. The only thing was we sent little gifts for every volunteer, because, of course, without the volunteers, Conquest doesn't exist. So we wanted to show our appreciation and the appreciation of the members for the work of the volunteers. So each one received a gift. And of course, we did insist that to mark the 40th, every group had got to have a cake to share with their cup of tea.
Okay, what a lovely story, and particularly giving each volunteer a lovely little gift, which is good. But over the years, I can imagine that the charity's grown and developed in the various ways it supports the community. Could you just give me a little bit more about how Conquest Arts supports the community in recent years?
Yes, when Ursula first began, it was all very serious. And the painting, the drawing was really the heart of every single meeting. However, as the years have gone by and Ursula has gone to meet her maker, we have actually changed things. So we don't just have painting and drawing. Any creative activity we encourage. And anything which any of our members would like to explore and to do, we financially support, we encourage, we help them to do that. So we have now a wide variety. Some people use the air-dried clay. Others will do, well, we even had a landscape that was knitted at one point, which one lady did. So we have moved and changed to all sorts of imaginative ways now of being creative through artwork. So that has expanded that. Also, when Ursula began, she wanted membership to be people with physical disabilities. But of course, we now have broadened that out. So anyone who has a long-term health problem which makes an impact upon their lives is a welcome member to our groups. So we have across the board people with difficult problems in their lives, but they can forget about them. Some of our members only come out once a week to the sessions which we hold. And so they get great benefit and fun and no questions asked. It doesn't matter if you've had a tumor, your face has fallen, you've had a stroke, you can't move your arm, whatever. No questions. Everybody's comfortable and happy together.
It sounds absolutely amazing, Judy. I think I should bring my trombone down one day and play a couple of tunes, and maybe we could get some people involved in a little bit of music.
Yes, please. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Look, today the headquarters of Conquest Art is based in Chessington, I believe, and covers the Epsom Newell area. Judy, how many groups do you have? I know that we have one right here on my doorstep in Worcester Park. It would take me less than 5 minutes to walk to it. I didn't know that until yesterday when I started, I continued doing a bit of research for the show today. So there are a number of Conquest Arts within the Epsom and Newell Borough, and I think further afield, going down to Leafy Guildford even.
Yes, of course, Ursula began. The first group was in St Paul's Church in Cheam. And so the majority of the groups then were in the Epsom and Newell area, and in fact remain so. But altogether, we have 17 established groups. And before COVID hit, we had 2 more in the pipeline. So although the majority are around here, Epsom, Newell, Stoneleigh, Dorking, Worcester Park, all around our area, in fact, we do have some groups which are further afield. There's one in Malvern, there's one down in Bridport, and these have been established mostly by people who lived locally, were associated with Conquest locally, and then having realized the enormous fun value of the work that Conquest does, when they moved to a new location, they then began a Conquest group there. And of course, we do our best to support them from a distance. So 17 groups, and hopefully when we get back to normal, another couple added to our portfolio.
That's good. But also, I think one of the interesting questions at the moment, you're saying, during the pandemic and all this horrible stuff that's been going on, but hopefully we're going to start seeing a bit of normality. Now, have you been coping during lockdown? Because obviously it's very much a group charity, and it's as the young man on the movie there said, he really loves going there, meeting other people. He particularly enjoys the biscuits, and so it's all about being together as a community to do these art projects. And of course, during lockdown, you can't do that. So I presume, Judy, that your clever volunteers have managed to start using social media platforms like Zoom and meetings and all those sort of things.
Yes, new technology has been a bit of a challenge. And I have to say, we do have about 100 members who were unable to manage the technology demanded. But some of the groups have had Zoom sessions as a replacement for actually physically getting together, and people have done art together that way. If it was possible during the lockdown, some leaders have taken art materials round to people's houses, and they have been continuing with their creativity in their homes. And a lot of that was then shared on WhatsApp. If people could manage, they then had the camaraderie of meeting together on WhatsApp and sharing the pictures and the things that they had been doing. We also have kept regular contact through phone calls, but also through newsletters. So the trustees have been meeting once a month during lockdown and really trying our best to keep our family of Conquest members together and not isolated, because in normal times, people with disabilities and problems do get isolated. So through various means, we've tried to keep our Conquest family together during this difficult time.
That's good. And I think one of the big highlights, Judy, that you have is you have that wonderful, you have your annual meeting when you get everybody together, and you also hold an exhibition of art, which is created by members of the various groups. And you also present some awards for outstanding and improving art from your members. And there are a couple of wonderful awards. Can you tell me a little bit about this, please, Judy?
Yes, we have our annual meeting with an exhibition which is based upon a subject which one of our patrons, Lady Shepherd, suggests. The last one was a sunny autumn day, and the different groups send in their offerings, and the mayor usually attends our annual meetings, and he and his companion will go around the exhibition and pick out which ones they would like awards to be presented to. So that is one of the exhibitions that we hold. But we also have an annual one at Bourne Hall, and there we ask the public to vote on which picture they like the best. And each of the groups has an open day where exhibitions are held. And of course, families, relatives, local communities come in and they see the work that our members have been achieving over the length of that year.
That's quite amazing.
We also give an award to a new member who during the time has really flowered, because we don't concentrate on disability. Our aim is to bring out ability. And through artwork, people become astonished because everyone can create, everyone can make beautiful artwork, even if it's just melding colours together. So we do give an award also for someone who started off shy and lacking in confidence, and by the end of the year, they are producing brilliant work.
That's absolutely amazing, Judy. And I think I could actually tell you, for one, I am convinced that if I was to sit down with a brush or a pencil, you would get nothing from me. My brother, actually, he's an artist and he's very, very good at what he does. But so he's got the art side, I've got the music side, but I can't get into art, but I love watching it. And one of the things I was just thinking about whilst you were talking there, Judy, is that the Bourne Hall exhibition, for example, I wasn't aware of that. And please, and to anybody else who's listening that has events happening, please let me know. And through Channel KT4, I can let people know and say, go along to Bourne Hall and have a look at this wonderful artwork. And I think just about now is the perfect time, Judy, for me to show to our viewers some of the wonderful images. The first one that I've just put up on the screen now is the wall from the exhibition with all the pictures on there that people can go and view. I'm not sure whether the picture here is from Bourne Hall or whether it's from the one that you had, I think it was in Cheam, but that doesn't matter. It's a wall of all the artwork, which is really good. And the next one I'm going to show, and this is by a lady called Janet, and it's called Cats. And it's this picture of all these cats' faces, and it's so cleverly put together. And I'm going to keep saying I like this. This is my favorite. Peggy Farnish has put together a wonderful painting, and it's of a bay with the blue sea, and you can see a hint of the of sand, and in the foreground you've got this wonderful foliage of flowers. I mean, the composition of this piece of art is absolutely stunning. It's as if a professional photographer has actually been and framed that picture so they could get everything into it. I'm very, very impressed with this, and completely different. And this is by, I think it's Debbie Deal, has done, it looks like a hare, the wonderful tail in the background. And you've got Mike Holmes as his horse, and he's got this wonderful mane there as well. And this looks like it's kind of like watercolor. So there's different techniques going on here, Judy, in the various styles of what they're doing. And you mentioned about Bourne Hall, and I'm just going to put up on the screen now the public's favorite. And it's kind of like like a bit of water with with water grasses and everything growing, and this beautiful bird in the middle of the picture. It's just so lovely. And yeah, I've had great fun looking at all these pictures whilst I've been putting the show together, I must admit. But it's all very good, and very, very impressed with everything. Now, Judy, tell our listeners a little bit about other creative workshops that are held and the benefits. I see that you've also got people doing first aid courses. Is that just for the volunteers, or are you getting other people involved in that as well?
Yes, no, we run the charity very tightly according to the Charity Commission rules. So we do have very great care of our members, keeping them safe, and our volunteers, keeping everybody happy. And we do have volunteers who we train. We will pay for them to be trained as first aiders. And best practice is to have a first aider at each of the groups. I have to admit, not that they're used very often, but they're just a safety measure to have somebody there. With all the paintings, you can see the different personalities coming out. And you have to bear in mind, of course, that some people are amputees. Some people are using a non-dominant hand, having had a stroke. People have had Parkinson's, and there's not many straight lines in nature, so they can still paint, they can still create. So whether somebody is in the depths of depression, or they are struggling with physical difficulties, they can always, in some manner or other, we can produce a method, unconventional, many of them, but for every member to be able to be creative and imaginatively to do artwork. Sometimes just starting with something like closing your eyes and doing a doodle, and then opening the eyes and looking at the sweeping strokes and seeing what you can imagine within those pictures, and then developing it and changing it and making patterns. So there's all sorts of different ways that everybody, even in the past, we have had people painting with a brush in their mouth or a pointer, which is fixed to the forehead. So people can do things. There is no reason why everybody, including you, Graham, would not produce a work of art. Everything is respected and valued and wonderful.
It sounds great. I would definitely be a work in progress, Judy. I have to say that. It's amazing how many volunteers you have. And I know you're always looking for more volunteers, particularly at this time, having gone through the closure of all the various clubs. And so people have been moving, and people have had to take new jobs and various things like that. So you're always on the lookout for more volunteers. So there's a big shout out to anybody out there who's got any artistic skill whatsoever. Then do get in touch either through me or directly to Conquest Art, and I'm sure you'll be very well received. But Judy, what are the benefits to being a volunteer?
May I make a comment and say you do not have to be an artist to be a wonderful volunteer at a Conquest group.
Thank you for correcting me, Judy.
making a cup of tea. Now that is a talent that you need to have. Make a good cup of tea. We really want people who are committed and who are friendly, open-minded, prepared to play and to enjoy themselves. And in fact, I think our volunteers have as much pleasure at a Conquest meeting as our members do. And once the members are all settled down and they're working, we encourage our volunteers also to paint. So they join in, they're part of that community who are creating imaginatively together, helping each other as comrades, as friends. And volunteering in itself is a healing process. It's a two-way thing. It isn't just giving, it's also taking. So all the volunteers who come have a great time, they enjoy themselves, and they find it a very worthwhile and very happy time in their lives to participate. So please we do need volunteers because during COVID, many of our volunteers' lives have had to change. They've had to get jobs, or they're looking after grandchildren, or they've had bereavements, or they've had to move area. So we do need group leaders. They need a group leader in Epsom. We need volunteers in Ewell, all over the place. And also our treasurer, who is an elderly gentleman who's been with us since Ursula's day, and he would like a younger treasurer that he can coach and bring on. He wants to remain a trustee. So also, please, if there's anybody out there who likes adding up and can manage figures, we also would be very, very grateful to have a new treasurer. The trustees meet 3-4 times a year, so it's not too onerous, I don't think, that role. So yes, please, volunteers out there, come and enjoy yourselves with our Conquest groups.
Okay, Judy, thank you there. That was a very good shout out, by the way. I'm very impressed with that, Judy. But before you go, let's have a look at some more incredible artwork from your members, the members of Conquest Art. I really do like this one. This is by Phil, and it's the picture here, Judy, is inspired by forest fires. And you can see all the wonderful brush strokes that are there. And it's kind of like a very hard landscape that suffered the ravages of flame. Very, very visual, moving sort of image. And then we have 2 pictures, one by Sundar and one by Carl Barton. And Carl's is like a lighthouse. And we think the other one could be sort of impressionist art, and maybe there's a bird there. It's a really very well constructed picture, I must admit. Now, you mentioned about the competition, and I think these are last year's, but this is the second prize of the Lady Shepherd Award, and it's just very simple. It's a lovely pale blue background with some leaves of a flower. It's just absolutely clear lines and very, very pretty. And here it is. Here's the winner. Wow, just look. This is incredible. It's like a really wonderful autumnal picture of trees, and there's a darker background to it, and the sky, and then in the foreground you've got this sort of lovely vivid yellowy sort of meadow, and it's really, really lovely. And so, you know, can I first of all, Judy, say a big thank you for sharing all those pictures with me. It's been great. So, Judy, thanks so much for joining me in my virtual studio here at Channel KT4. It's been fascinating to find out about yet another amazing charity here on our own doorstep. I really do hope everything gets back to normal as soon as possible. In the meantime, Judy, please keep safe and keep up all the great work, because it really is so important. And you just stay there for a minute, please, Judy, while I close the show, because before I close the show, I just got to do a little shout out. So the first one is, slowly we're getting back to normal. And in the coming days and weeks ahead, events are starting to appear. And the first is this bank holiday weekend on Sunday and Monday at Nonsuch Park and the Town and Country Fair. Tickets are available online. And they are actually cheaper online, but you can turn up on the day and get a ticket at Nonsuch Park as well. So highly recommend you go and support a local event, which is looking very good. And I've had a wonderful little poster sent to me, and here's the poster. And this is over in Leafy Banstead, it's a little bit further out, and it's all systems go for the Village Day celebrations on the 3rd of July, which is free and open to all. It might just be worth a little road trip. If you know of any events whatsoever coming up, please let me know, and I'll give it a shout out here on Channel KT4. What an incredible program we've had today. Really enjoyed having Judy on the show. This is Graham Jones. Join me next week, next Tuesday, in fact, of course, when my guest will be Sarah Dewing from the Emily Davison Memorial Project. The week later, the statue is being placed in Epsom town centre. So it'd be really great to talk to Emily all about this memorial project that she's been working so hard on. So until then, stay safe and bye for now.